Still at it with this planter. What is the date today? June 10th? My gosh. So in the few years I've been planting, it has been overly dry. We've been in a drought this past couple of years. This year is not a drought. It's just rain, 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 and more rain. And I've never had to deal with a wet spring, wet summer, and mud and all this stuff, really. So it's kind of a new experience for me. And we have an 80-acre field. My cousin and I own it together, half and half. And it doesn't have much tile in it. And I planted it right before a big rain. And I went out there with the agronomist, and it ain't looking too hot. The beans that are up are good, but half of them maybe came up, if that, and it's not consistent. So I asked him, what should I do with this? He said, I'm be honest with you, he said, I would replant, set 3 populations on your monitor, have 50,000 and 70,000 and like 100,000, and plant it at an angle. And he says, the less green you see, the higher that number gets. So I'm gonna go replant an entire field for the first time, but we're not digging it up. We're just gonna plant at an angle, which is something I've also never done, planting soybeans into other soybeans. So this will be a fun one. So out in the field, I got my population set up. We got 51, 68, and 90, and I'm running 80 pounds of downforce right now. My brother is out. That was kind of a wet spot. Pump it up there. My brother's out walking around doing some digging, letting me know how it looks. I did have the down pressure at 100, and it looked pretty good, but we thought maybe it was just a little too high, so we bumped it down to 80. And we also raised it up a notch, so we thought it was going a little too deep. And there's plenty of moisture, that's not an issue. Lots and lots of moisture. That's the reason that we're replanting in the first place. But yeah, it's just driving at an angle. It's doing a terrible job of steering going across these rows, the planter's swaying, but I guess I really don't care. I just need soybeans in this field. When we cut it, it doesn't care. When we spray it, we're just gonna go with the original rows anyways. So here's a spot to bump it up to 68. Actually, this might be a 90 spot here in the middle. I'm gonna bump up to 90 here for a little bit. It's just gonna be a lot of watching what I'm going through and clicking the monitor, changing my populations here the entire day. So on the end rows, it's really hard to do an angle. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to do twin rows, getting that row right next to the other row. And how I'm doing it is I'm staring down here at this track, and I'm trying to get this track as close as I can to the soybeans without actually running them over. So I'm literally just sitting here like this, my face over the steering wheel, just staring at this track, trying not to run over these soybeans. This field, aesthetically, not gonna look the best. I can already tell you that. But it needs to be done, and this is one of those years where there's gonna be a lot of fields that don't look that great because it's just been so freaking wet. So the problem here is that there's some areas like over here that look really, really good. And then you get to areas like right here where one row might be 100,000, the row next to it's 50,000. And then you get into some spots like over there. I don't know how well the camera's picking these up. But there's all these like wet spots that may be standing 30,000, which if it was corn might be okay. Soybeans, not so much. Kind of going through a bad spot right now. Oh, apparently it's still a bit muddy out here. I I've almost got this thing stuck twice now. Both times I didn't have the camera running, but there was one time, and the other time is up on the other side of this hill, I think. Apparently I dropped a big rock right there too. I didn't see that. Oh, the joys. I'm stressed out right now. It's just, even here, I can feel it squirming a little bit. It's just so baseless underneath the ground. Man, that's a big rock I just hit. Would have been on that end. Oh, I gotta speed up. It's wet here too, look at this. Squirmy. Oh, I don't like this. Not one bit. I suppose I better see if I broke anything. Okay. Kind of looking to make sure everything's still here. Big thing are these springs. All still there so far. We're running, oh boy. I'm gonna get my glove for that. These ones are okay. Spring's still there. These are the springs I bought through Solid Rock Ag. They're different than the John Deere ones. I have not broken a single one this year. Last year I broke like 10. And I've done a lot more planting this year than I did last year. So I put the camera away and I went and dug the rest of that mud out of there because I just didn't know a good way to hold the camera. And there was a full rock that was wedged between the tire and the frame. Like a decent sized one, probably like that. I hate mud. This has been such a humbling experience for me, especially just like learning the difference between like good ground and not great ground. Like this is good ground, but there's no tile in it. And you can see it right there where I almost got stuck twice. I keep not having the camera turned on. So I saw it was wet here, so I stopped back there. Okay? I mean, you can see that it's kind of wet here. So I stopped right here. It's wet there, I stopped here. I started backing up, and the tractor was fine. The planter, look at the planter marks. What the crap? I'm a good 120 foot away from the wet spot, and the planter did this. The tractor was up there, planter was here. And I realized, like, I can't back this up. So I just full force straight ahead. Look at this. This is gonna be a pain to combine. I might actually have to, I don't know, might have to combine around that and then just chisel plow it. I would also just like to state that it hasn't rained for like over a week, and we've had some hot, sunny, windy days. Did I plug anything up back here again? Please tell me I didn't. I hate cleaning up all this mud. Yep, yes I did. They don't look too bad though. No rock in it this time. I've never been so stressed out planting in my life. The camera's not gonna see it. When you look across the field, it's just mud spot, mud spot, mud spot, mud spot, mud spot, mud spot. Just all these places where I dang near got stuck or sunk way in. Combining this field is gonna be a disaster. We're gonna get so much mud in the combine, it's unreal. I have a feeling like Dad's gonna have to run the soybean or the draper head tilted up a little bit, and we're gonna lose some beans, but I think we're at our federal crop guarantee of this field anyway, so I don't know if it really matters. Oh, this is stressing me out. I don't get stressed out very often. This is killing me a little bit inside. I don't know if you can see it. There, right here, over there. This field's had like a week to dry, and I forgot to change the population back. This field's had like a week to dry. Like 2 days ago, it was like 50-mile-per-hour winds, like 85 degrees. Like it was, if it was gonna dry, it was gonna, I'm baffled. I can't imagine like the farming that my dad and my uncle did before system tiling. Nuts. So a little history lesson for you guys. I don't remember what railroad it was, but whatever runs east and west, that kind of follows I-90 a little bit sometimes. When the surveyors were surveying the railroad, and they kind of came through our area a little bit. It was more east of here, but through this region of southern Minnesota. In their notebooks, they wrote down this area is a swamp ground, and it will never be useful for anything, or it'll never be productive for anything. And then somebody created tile, and now we're farming it all. A lot of the first tile was either dug in by hand or with a steam shovel. But it was just kind of like, they didn't system tile anything. It was like, there's a wet spot, there's a creek, tile between the two. And then they dug a bunch of open ditches. A bunch of the open ditches around my area are man-made ditches to drain all the fields to, that then drain into a river somewhere else. It's kind of neat how it all came to be. How somebody figured out you could put pieces of pipe underneath the ground, the water will infiltrate it and flow. I have no idea, but it sure has made this swamp ground one productive area. Done. Thank goodness. Oh boy, I never want to do that again. Hopefully my drone map turns up with this field, and we can see all the tile lines, and then hopefully we can get some tile in this. I don't even know where to go. Where is the outlet here? Have to be that way, I think. Definitely kind of slopes that direction. I don't know if there's a county main or something we can go through this. My dad and my brother are way better at that than I am. So a little time gap in the video here. I have driven the planter over to the next county over, and we are in one of our new fields here that we're renting this year. And the community over here, they also got pounded with rain, and we got some replanting to do here. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's kind of green, then it's not green, and then it's green again. So I'm kind of walking around right now, kind of getting an idea of what I need to do. My brother should be here for gator sooner or later, and we're gonna drive around and just kind of get a game plan here, what populations, where, the best way to do this. This is gonna be a harder one because I wonder if I can't just, the roads are going this way, I wonder if I can't just pull in and just drive crossways. At this point, it really doesn't make a difference. You're not gonna kill anything extra spraying. It's not really gonna make a difference combining. And it'd be a lot less passes to the field. I could probably get it done in 2 rather than 15. That was gonna be my question. I was walking around earlier and I was like, man, if I could just plant it that way, you know, so just, I mean, if I start a pass here, 150,000 where there's nothing. Yep. And I got my dual monitor set up so I can do section control on one and population on the other. Okay. That's what I was doing at Schaefer's. Just kind of follow the, I'd go around and follow the contours and then go back in and fill in. Okay. Maybe the first 60 foot where the beans are kind of crappy, planted like 70,000, and then your next pass, 150,000. Okay. Okay, so we got a plan.
Power on.
I did not film much of the gator because that roof of that gator's clapped. Okay, it's a work mule for sure, and the roof is bouncing on the supports, and so it's just plastic banging against metal, and I'm sure that it comes through the microphone terribly. So I didn't film a whole bunch, but basically we got all this right here, and my brother's all for just planting it to whatever direction is easiest. So I think I'm going to do here is actually just use my endro boundary and just keep going out and just plant all this way, because it's a long narrow section, goes that direction. Then there's some stuff up around the acreage, and there's kind of some stuff on the other side of the acreage, and there's some stuff in front of me. And so my plan is to go this way, go up along the road, around the acreage, over, do this stuff, and then end up in that field drive way over there. No idea how many acres we got here, but let's get it done. Okay, now I got it set up, so I don't really care about mapping or anything in this. So I just got it set up. So I got my section control down here, and I got my populations up here. And that way I can change populations and do sections all at the same time, the best I possibly can. This is actually working pretty good. It's very concentrating really hard, trying to get this as good as I possibly can, but having auto track going is actually being a really big help. I'm just using boundary tracks. I'm basically just extending the headlands out. This is way more efficient than it would have been if I would have been trying to drive it myself. I say I got one more pass over here, then I can start heading up towards the acreage. All looks pretty good. Yeah, so I got this one pass left. I just got a few spots I gotta touch up here. So I'll finish that one off camera. I'm headed to the next field, and it's amazing. Like looking around, there's 3 spots in this field. A spot right here. There's a spot right here. A spot up there. It's just amazing how many lakes. I don't know if I'm gonna say this right. It's amazing how many wet spots there are. And I would love to have the opportunity to, if I could travel back in time, I wouldn't travel back to the Titanic or the, Lincoln Address or whatever. I wouldn't travel back to any of that stuff. I would travel back to here 200 years ago and just see how much different it is now that we have tile. Because, every single field had essentially a lake in it. In fact, there's some my grandpa has some really, really old maps of our township, and many of our fields were actually a lake. I have found rocks with like seashell imprints on them in many of our fields. So it's amazing how much has changed over the last 200 years and how productive land is today. So this is another field that's new to us this year. We have quite a few spots. It's like here, in this area of the field, we got a lot of spots. So I'm just going back and forth along the entire thing. I set my GPS 5 inches off to the side, and we're just going back and forth, lowering the planter whenever I need to. So we're gonna have some twin rows here where the new rows are about 5 inches off from the original rows. So got the boring stuff done, finished the field, and what I haven't been telling you guys on camera for a little bit is that I have been having a couple issues with the CTIS this year. Mostly just like a kinked cable here or there. But I went through a little bit of mud here today and absolutely tore this one apart. And I don't know if I have enough. I know I didn't bring any extra. I don't have my cutter with me. I'm gonna hope that I can kind of stitch it back together with my Leatherman. We'll see here. Okay, so looks like, this tire is flat, like about to come off the bead flat. Well, I definitely have plenty of cable or hose, so that's good. Kind of push this one in, remove this. There we go. This one's gonna be a little more difficult because it broke inside. Oh, I did get it. Theoretically, I can just cut these now and this will actually be pretty easy. Well, let me use my knife, my very dull knife. Through one. Through two. That's not a straight cut at all. Maybe I should hit this with a little snipper here. I mean, it pushed in. This one needs to be shorter in order to get it to fit in there. I'll cut about a 1/2 inch off it. There we go. Hopefully that's enough to fix that. What we've been finding is these smaller hoses kink fairly easily and then can cause some issues. So the new ones have a bigger hose, or have a 10mm hose instead of, I think this is an 8. And I think they're gonna come update mine here after the season's over. But I just wanna make sure everything else looks the way it should. Definite kink right there, but hopefully it'll allow some air to go through it. That one looks fine, that one looks fine. So I knew it wasn't working right because I was not able to build up air pressure here. So hopefully my air compressor goes up and keeps going up. Okay, well that doesn't mean much until I start inflating tires. Come on, keep going up. I'm just gonna go down a little bit at first because it's trying to fill these tires up. But at least it's not dropping like a rock. It might have actually done something here. Is it still moving up? I think it is, very slowly. Almost up to 40 PSI. This one with the kink, I hear it leaking somewhere. Oh, it's also kinked right there. Really bad. Oh boy. Oh, and that broke off. Yeah, this one's destroyed. I didn't even go through that much mud. Okay, after those short couple repairs, it inflated all the tires. I'm just trying to remember how the heck I pulled this. I don't know why I blanked on that. I've only done it 85 times this year. So yeah, we've been having some issues with CTI. Yeah, it's funny, we had 0 last year. This year we've had some. But so far, every time, except for the first time we had issues was installation error on their part. So they came, I mean, NTS has been treating, and PTG, they've been treating me awesome. No complaints there whatsoever. Their service has been great. So they came down, fixed it the first time. It was installation error issue. And then the rest of the times have all been like kinked hoses and stuff, which they gave me a whole bunch of hose. So they've come down and fixed a couple. I've fixed a few. The massive hose is sitting in my shop at the moment, and I am a very long ways away. So I'm glad I got it up. That means I can get home. I hope that this is the last time I'm in this planter for this year. Please. I love planting, but man, am I getting tired. So tired.